The Soviet Union existed from 1922 to 1991. How did the Soviet Union come to an end? Why did it collapse? The beginning of the end of the Soviet Union came in 1985 when a man named Mikhail Gorbachev became premier. When Gorbachev came to power, he implemented several new governmental policies. These changes collectively became known as perestroika, which means restructuring. Many believe perestroika helped bring about the end of the USSR. One of the most important things he did was ease the restrictions on free speech. For many, many years, the Soviet people had not been allowed to speak out against the government for fear of severe punishment. Under perestroika, they were able to speak their mind more openly. Through a policy known as glasnost, the government became more open as well. Glasnost is a Russian term which means openness. It referred to an increased amount of transparency of government activities, which meant they would no longer hide information from the people. The economic situation in the Soviet Union was also very grim during this time. Many people were poor, and they began using their newfound freedom of speech to speak out against the miserable condition communism had left them in. These were feelings many had wanted to express for decades, but had not been allowed to do so. The civil unrest that led to the downfall of the Soviet Union began in the outer regions of the country. Estonia was the first region where organized protest movements began demanding independence from the Soviet Union. Before long, similar protests erupted in Lithuania, Latvia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Ukraine, Moldova, and Belarus. Unlike similar incidents from the past, Premier Gorbachev did not attempt to end these protests with the Soviet army. In 1991, as it seemed the Soviet Union was on the verge of falling apart, a group of hard-line, devout communists attempted a coup d'etat, meaning they attempted to seize control of the government. When the people learned this had happened, they took to the streets by the thousands. Massive protests erupted in Moscow and other major cities. In an effort to maintain power, the communists sent out the military. However, troops refused to raise their weapons against the people, and many joined the protest. The communists realized that without the military, their coup would fail. Power was returned to Gorbachev. Within months after the failed coup, the Soviet Union collapsed entirely. In December of 1991, Premier Gorbachev stepped down, and in January of 1992, the Soviet Union ceased to exist. The collapse of the Soviet Union was seen as a triumph of freedom and democracy over totalitarianism. The death of the Soviet Union finally brought an end to the era known as the Cold War.